Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap morning pre-market session and trade plan setup for Wednesday, June the 18th, 2014. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder and head moderator. Each morning we come together to this live go-to to look at the market structure and prepare for trading for the day. We do start with the basic key numbers, the macro to the micro, then the different time frame trends, macro to the micro. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you might want to skip ahead a bit to get to where we get into some more in-depth chart analysis and set up our trade levels and our hypotheses and targets for the day. If you're interested in finding out more about our group, you'll need to Skype. We have a Skype room. And you can send me a contact request at Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And of course, you can send me an email to d.mckay@stealthtrader.com. So before we go, we've got to get the disclaimers out of the way. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand the knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions made. Trading futures or any instrument involves risk loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than their initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own trade plan, do your own due diligence. Okay, so of course, the big thing today, let's go right to the market report, because the big news today is going to be our FOMC. We do have crude inventories at 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern, but we have FOMC economic projections, the statement at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern, and then also the FOMC press conference. So we'll see the a sustained. We'll get a little bit of a wiggle on the statement itself, but you got to be careful today because this is one of the days where they do the press conference 30 minutes later. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at where we are. Just want to pull up the night. So far we've got an overnight high of 1935.50, an overnight low of 1932.75. That's a pretty tight range, and they're holding balance in around the Globex VPOC at 1934. So going over to our 20-day ATR calculator. 1935.50. 1932, and did I say 75 or a quarter? 75. So that gives us currently right now ATR target to the upside 1944.50 and to the downside 1923.75. Okay, let's go take a look at our daily data. Of course, the big number above us still is that 1954.75. This is the all-time high that's not adjusted. The adjusted high is 1947.50. And we've got an unequalized high between the June contract and the September contract. So we're likely to still go up there and test that area and equalize those two highs. Nothing really else pops out. We've got the month open at 1921.25. Got the month low at 1913.75. Those numbers are going to pop out when you see the composite. Yesterday we opened in the Globex at 1929, had a high at 35 and a low of 23.75, and then we opened auction in range at 1926.50. You can see we're trending. We're starting to move back up in this trend after getting a couple days down move in the Globex. We broke the IB to one side for a normal variation. Our opening swing high is 27.50. Our opening swing low is 24.25. If you remember yesterday, those are the two numbers that I was talking about in terms of, we wanted to be above 1927 and a quarter, and we wanted to be below 1924. So get short below 24 and above, get long off of 27. We were really using 27 as a trade area for that move up. Our initial balance high 1933.75, initial balance low 1924.25 for a 9.5 point. You can see we're coming back into some more normal ranges within the first initial balance. And then all our intraday numbers were higher. We had a higher 1230 number 1932, higher high 35.75, higher low 24.25, higher close at 33.75, and then our VPOC shifted up to 1934. And again, you're seeing that after a little bit of a retracement, we're holding value, and we're not getting a bigger retrace right now. This leads me to believe, if the news is any good with the FOMC meeting, that we're likely to see retests and that equalization of that 47.50 September all-time high and that 1954.75 June all-time high. Our 20-day ATRs continue to tighten still, which again is leading. Look at how we went from 15 down to under 10 now on the 20-day ATR RTH. This is coiling for a big move when it happens. It's not happened yet. Okay, so watch when this thing explodes. It's going to explode strong and hard, and you want to go with that trend. Our value area high was 35.50. Our value area low was 29.50 for a 6-point value area, and then we broke outside of the pocket. The IB to the high side, 1142 central. Very late break yesterday, and then we did. You can see that volumes starting to pick up as we hold value here. We're getting some action. OTF is coming back into this marketplace after stepping away and having all those those low volume days. It was incredible how almost a week we were we were basically a million or more, or a million or under on the RTH. All right, so let's go take a look at the trends macro to micro. I always like to start, know where I am within the different time frames. Trend is very strong in the monthly, good slope and separation on the 9 EMA and the 20 SMA. Price is paralleling the 9 quite nicely. A little bit of a tech gap right here. Still expect this to get closed out on the monthly, but it doesn't have to happen this month. Going over to the weekly, we've got that technical gap. We're closing it through time with sideways consolidation, but the slope and separation is still strong, and the trend is still intact. On the daily, a little bit of a different story. We have the technical gap up here, came down, closed the tech gap against the 9, closed it against the 20, and now we've been holding that 20 SMA, and we're now trading just above the 9 EMA. We've lost a little bit of slope and separation, but the overall trend has not been violated, although it has shown some weakness. As long as we stay above this 1933 level, this trend is still very much intact on the daily. Going over to the geometric chart, so I added a opposing fork. I'm not convinced it's. I did it based on the 4-hour. I'm not convinced it's valid yet, but I'm watching to see if the frequency stays good against the levels. Currently, right now, we've got this short time frame upward sloping fork, and we're holding inside the lower line. This 1930. 250, 1933 is going to be a key level for us today. If we break below that, then I would be looking for a move down to test the center line here, which would bring us of the downward sloping fork in around that 1921, 1921.75 area. But it's really the the center line of the intermediate upward sloping fork that I'd be watching. Not sure we're going to get there today, but a move down there today would take us down into that 1906 level. And you know that 1906 is that CLVN down there. That's extremely important to us. But we'll keep an eye on this opposing downward sloping fork. But again, it's all about whether we hold the bottom line. If we can hold the bottom line in the short-term upward sloping fork, a move to retest the upper line today would take us up to roughly 1950, and we'd be more likely to equalize those two highs between the 1947.50 and the 1954.75. So let's take a look at the intraday trend coming into the marketplace, into the RTH session. You can see that this downward trend, nice technical gap, close right there. Keep an eye on those tech gaps, but we're getting solid consolidation down here. But we do have a bit of an upward trend starting. So we've got some slope and separation, and we're holding above the 9. So possible start of a trend on the 4-hour. Going over to the 30-minute, a little bit different story. We're just basically consolidating sideways right now with no clear trend intact. Going to the 15-minute, same thing, just basically solid. We had a pretty tight range overnight. I mean, basically, it was, what, a 3.25 point range overnight, pretty tight. And then the 5-minute, again, nothing to give us any guidance as far as the trends. So, so we started the trend on the 4-hour, but consolidation on all the smaller time frames. Let's go take a look at the big picture. So I've got a micro composite running from the 27th through to the prior day. But you can see I've got them broken down into the balance days. And we've currently have come down into this 4-day balance, and we've accepted value. It was yesterday morning, and I was pointing this out while I was on the train yesterday morning, that this micro composite VPOC was down at 27.50 and shifted up yesterday up to 29.50. So we've accepted value higher. And I mentioned that in the room, whenever that you see that micro composite VPOC shift and they're accepting value higher, they're likely to go and try to test the other side of the range that you're in, and that was up at 1934.75. We had that 1935 overnight high that we were looking to get taken out, and we took it out by 3 ticks yesterday. But we've come up and we've tested the range high, and we're currently trading right now in 34.50. Now, we've got FOMC this afternoon, so I'm expecting extreme chop this morning. So you want to be very careful this morning on where you try to get in. In fact, if you're struggling at all, or you're not sharp today, the best thing is to go away and come back another day. This is going to be a tough trading day. But some of us that are involved are going to be looking at these levels. So right now, the key level that you want to see hold for higher prices is this 1933. 1933 is the CLVN. It's also a couple ticks above the value area high for the 4-day micro composite at 32.50. If we hold outside of value, we're likely to come up and test the value area low and that naked VPOC that we've got up there at 1936. We've got the value area low from where we were trying to hold value after making that all-time new high in around this 1939.25. So the value area low is 36, and you can see the composite itself is pretty blunt here. I mean, there's no real edge in this area at all. But if we get below 33 and inside of value below 32.50, then I'm thinking, you got a fairly decent move down to 31, if not all the way back to balance, to pick up buyers down here at 29.50. And then the other side of the value is down there at that 1924.75 near the range low from yesterday's RTH session. But the key line below us is this 1922. Below 1922, look for a move down to 1875 and a test of that 16, and then anything under 16. This is going to be a really nice trade right here. If we break 1675, get short into this 1450, and not likely going to hold this time. I think we come all the way down to test the 1912.50 or the 1911, and then the value area low down there for the larger micro composite is all the way down at 1907.50, but the number I'm watching is at 1906 and a quarter. And that's really where I think we need to hold. We're likely to get stuck in this distribution zone, though, with a break below 1675. We've got undetermined fair value that I've been talking about down here. We've got to mature this auction here. I mean, the auction needs to be matured here too, so there's a lot of work to do within the structure, but not a lot of edge yet. So let's take a look at what that looks like on the intraday and start moving our numbers over. Of course, we have a overnight high at 35.50. And that's basically right sitting on the value area high from yesterday at 35.50. And then our overnight low is 32.75 with our VPOC right in at that 34. So the overnight session is they're accepting, you've got a nice bell curve here, they're accepting the value in around 34, and they're likely to chop around in this and test both sides of the value area today. And I would think that more likely, with the fact that we've had such a tight range overnight, is that the buyers try to take control out of the gate and go up and test this overnight high, take out the overnight high, and test the value area. This would be the first area and first target for me above, but there's really no edge right here. I mean, if you wanted to get long here, the only place you could really put your stop, in my mind, is below the 32.50. So if you can handle that stop, but I don't even think that's safe. I think this whole area right in this upper distribution is a danger zone for trying to do anything. I mean, if anything, I would try to get long now off of 34 and a quarter and ride this into 35.50. We've got the naked VPOC and the range high, right above it at 35.75, naked VPOC at 36, and then naked close at 36.50. The other side of balance up there is up there at 37.75, so that would be the first spot that I would look for responsive buyers to step in. So 37.75, you could take the breakout of the value area, get long, and get funded before 36 or 36.50. And just keep it running until they go and test that 37.75. If responsive buyers, sellers don't step in, then you've got target just above at 39 and a quarter. That's my main target above range and above value, with 40 and a quarter naked VPOC just above that. And then the next spot to look for responsive sellers stepping in is this 1943.50. That's a naked close as well. So let's front run that, or we'll just, come on. And then there's really nothing above that until you get to the 47.75. I'm sorry, 47.50, and then that equalization of that high up at 54.75. And at that point, we're completely back into uncharted territory, and we have to take a look at some measured moves, for anything. But I mean, if you're not long and running with the break above the range, don't try to fade this today. It could be dangerous. The only place I would try to fade would be here at this 43.50, and I think it could be just a small retracement. as long as we stay inside of here in around in around this 34, I think it's pretty choppy until we get below that, 3250. So 3250, but I would even be taking a look. Actually, I like the 3250 because it gives you a shot into that 31. Because if the buyers are going to step in, they're going to step in right here, right in around this HVN and the closing swing low here from yesterday. And then if they do break that, then you got a fairly decent move down to 31.25 as your first target. That's right where the VWAP was yesterday. But really, I'd be looking at this 29.50 and playing an 80% rule down to test the value area low, but come back down into this microcomposite VPOC here. And I would use this also as not just a target, but as a trade area, because they're likely to come in and find buyers down here for another pop, at least back up to test that 33 level or 3250 value area high of the microcomposite. Below 2950, you want to look for that range low from yesterday. There's really nothing in there, so I'd be looking for a move down to test the range low on the other side of the balance and value area low of the microcomposite at 24.50 and 24.25, and then below that, your first target below is going to be the range low from the other day at 22.50 and 22.75 and the CLVN. In fact, I'm not even going to make this a target. I'm going to make this both a target and a trade level because we're likely come down and test it, and then if they break, then you've got 1850. So we're at 1875. 1875 with 1650 being where the other side of the balance and where I'd be looking for buyers to step in. And then, like I said, anything below 1650, it's all going to be about this target at 1914.50. And again, we've got this, this undetermined fair value at 1350. The 1175. And 1050. And it's just ugly down here. That's why I'm just putting a whole bunch of targets because it's going to get real choppy, and we're just going to chop broccoli down here. And then, the other side of that is the big number here at 1906. And this is like a very, very key number, 1906.25. Everything below that is going to be a test to first the 1904.50, but we've got 1902. And of course, the centennial number at 1900. And then anything below that, the first key support level is going to be all the way down at this, microcomposite range low and the CLVN at 1896.25. I don't think 1900 is going to be a strong support level. I think it's really going to come all the way down to test the other side of this balance down here at 1896. So that's another good short. But this is the really nice short. Is below this 06 or below this 1675. Up here, there's just too much. There's just so much repair that's got to be done here. It's tough slugging. All right, so let's take a look at how am I doing for time here. 1910. Okay, 910. Okay. Let's bring up the Russell. Now I already put the Russell numbers in, but we'll just go through them. All right, so overnight so far, we've got an overnight high at 1170.90. Come on, why is my buttons not working? And then our overnight low, it's rounding it up to 71, that's fine. And our overnight low is the 68.20, and then we've got the 69.20 naked VPOC, which is right there. So we've got a naked close down here at 1168.90. We're basically trading in around this balance zone right here. You know, if we break below the 68.90, I'd be looking for a move to take out the overnight low. You can see that we've got in the Russell, it's a little bit different story than the ES. We've got a pretty strong P-shaped profile. So we're likely to get a move to repair the lower part of this this profile in the next couple of days. Doesn't necessarily have to be today, but I would be using the value area low as a trade area. Anything below that, look for a move, get in and get funded before 68.20. But it's really this 67 that I'm watching. You've got 67 CLVN, and just above it, you've got the 8-day value area high up here at 67.70. So 67 is going to be, you know, where I'd be looking for responsive buyers to step in between that 67.70 and 67. Below that, I'd be looking for a move down, and your first target below is going to be that 65.50. And then there's really nothing here. It's zipper line, you know, all the way to basically the 63.50. And then below 63.50, everything's going to be focused around the microdeposit VPOC here at 1159 area. That'll become a strong magnet below 63. 1159. $59.10, and then we've got the range low at 58.10, and then below that, okay, the other side of balance, okay, is down down here at 53.40. You got 53.40 as your CLVN, you got 53.70 as your value area low. So I'd be looking for a move down to test that 53.70. We'll put it at 53.40, and then once you're below that, you've got, you know, the range low from the 16th down here at 51.40, but everything moves down towards this area down here in around 46 in this undetermined fair value and this distribution zone, which is again very similar to that triple distribution or multiple distribution zone, you know, below 16 on the ES. So you've got a lot of destination targets, and then, you know, the key line, and you know, for long term right now is all the way down here at 1137, and then that's where I think that you know, we see a bigger retrace down, you know, below that. Come on, there we go. And then anything below 37, you've got the 32.90 and 30.60. And 30.60. All right, and then, you know, below below this 30, the other side of balance is this 26. I know I'm going pretty low on this, but I want to have some expanded ranges today just in case we get explosive move. Why? Because take a look at your 20-day ATR ranges. They are coiling, which means we're going to get a big day soon. And if anything is a possibility of getting a big day, it's a Fed announcement. So I want to have extension to the top and to the bottom. But below this 1126, it's all about this 1120 area. Remember 1120.10 was our composite VPOC and our microcomposite VPOC. That's now been shifted down to on the September contract down to the 1116.40, but we still have a microcomposite VPOC at 1120, and the market has memory. So I'd be looking at this 1120. $11.20.10, and then below that, the major magnet is going to be 1640. Come on. And then the other side of that balance is 1290. And I don't think I have to go any lower than that. Because once we get down here, we're likely just to chop around in this zone there. All right, going to the upside. All right, if we can hold that 67 area, we're likely going to chop around between there and the 74. And again, it's going to be pretty choppy in this area. But the first area that I would look for resistance coming in response of sellers is down here, or sorry, up here at 1174.20, which is the value area. And then if we break out of that, we're likely to test the range high and the range high of the 8-day microcomposite at 75.60. So I'd be actually looking for them to push through the range high and test the 75.60. And then if we break out of there, we are broken outside of value and outside of range for the 8-day balance that we're in, and we're likely to test the other side of this balance at 77.20. And then above that, there's really nothing to hold us down, okay, until we get all the way up here into this 81.82 area. You've got the microcomposite at 82.30, which is where we fell out of balance, and then you've got the CHVN at 81.30. So this 81 to 82 area is basically a major destination point above 77, and there's nothing to hold us down. And I think we go into serious price discovery with the first target at 81.30 and 82.30. And then the other side of that balance is 1184.50.
Got this.
And then above that, it's 1195.90, and possibly a test of the 1200s and new highs. 1195.90, and sorry, that is a target, not a trade. All right, and then of course you've got 1200, and if we come up and we break 1200, look for the rule of 10 to kick in and move up to 1210. Okay, take a quick look at gold. So currently right now, the 4-day microcomposite, we've got balance here in around this 1270. We're trading 1269.70 right now. The key number is still going to be that 66. As long as we hold 66, I'm still thinking we're going to test the other side of this balance up here at this 77.30. And if we get above 77.30, the key number above is that 1293 again, and first destination will be 1285.70, but everything above 66 is all about this 1293. Problem is, if we get a blow off top, we're likely to move back down into this distribution zone. If we get the blow off top in the indices, then look for them to break below 66, and then first destination below is 59 and 54. You've got double distribution down in this area, and I should bring this in there. With the key line between the two distributions down here at this 1251. But inside of value and inside of range, look for them to test this 50, and if they don't hold it, move back down to that 1244 area, and possibly go back down and test that 1241 area. But right now, I think that we're just going to chop around in between 66 and 77 for this week, unless we get a big move in the indices. And that big move in the indices, if it's down, will bring us to break the 77 and move up into those upper targets. If the move in the indices is up, then we're likely to come back down and test the 66 and then probably break it and come down into our targets below at 59, 50, and 54 area, and then the key line below is that 50. Anything below that, I think we test lowers, and we could see even a test, a break below that 1240 level and get below that 1238. We've still got a big number down at that 1227 area that is likely to get tested with some weakness. I can talk. All right, so that's going to complete our morning homework session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.